Before I begin this story, I want to make one thing very clear. This is not a story about ghosts. There are no demons, no shadows crawling on walls, no unexplained supernatural events. Everything that happened can be explained. And that's exactly what makes it terrifying. I was 22 years old when this happened. I had just moved into my first apartment completely on my own. No roommates. No pets. No one checking in on me at night. It was a small, ground floor unit on the edge of a quiet town. Not the kind of place people warn you about. No bars nearby, no sketchy neighbors, no crime stories on the local news. Just silence. At the time, I thought silence meant safety. The apartment itself was basic. One bedroom, a narrow hallway, a bathroom at the very end, and a small kitchen that opened into the living room. The front door faced a parking lot with only 2 working streetlights. At night, most of the area disappeared into darkness. From my bedroom, I could see straight down the hallway to the front door if it was open. And at night, when all the lights were off, the apartment felt like a tunnel. I lived alone, so I developed habits. Every single night, I checked the locks. Front door. Windows. Bathroom window. I checked them in the same order, every night, without fail. I was so consistent that sometimes I'd catch myself checking them even when I knew I already had. That night was no different. It was a Tuesday. I had work early the next morning, so I went to bed around 11:30 p.m. I remember being tired but restless. Scrolling through my phone. Watching random videos. Just killing time until sleep finally took over. Eventually, I put my phone down, turned off the lamp, and let the darkness settle in. That's when I heard it. At first, it was barely noticeable. A soft sound coming from the kitchen. Not a bang. Not a crash. More like something brushing against something else. I froze. I told myself it was the refrigerator. It made noises sometimes, humming, clicking, settling. Old appliance sounds. But this wasn't mechanical. This sounded intentional. The noise stopped. I waited. Then I heard it again. Closer this time. Like someone shifting their weight. My heart started beating faster, but I still didn't move. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to scare myself over nothing. I reached for my phone and turned the screen on just enough to light the room. Everything looked normal. Bedroom door closed. No light in the hallway. No movement. I turned onto my side, facing the wall, and told myself to sleep. That's when things changed. Because a few seconds later, I noticed something I hadn't before. A shadow. It moved slowly across the thin gap beneath my bedroom door. Not fast. Not sudden. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone stepping into position. My entire body went cold. That shadow wasn't caused by passing headlights or streetlights. The parking lot lights didn't reach that far inside. This shadow had weight to it. Someone was standing in the hallway. I didn't scream. I didn't move. Every instinct told me to stay still. I stared at that gap under the door, my mind racing through every possible explanation, desperately trying to convince myself this wasn't real. The shadow shifted slightly. Whoever it was turned. Then I heard a sound that erased all doubt. A quiet click. The sound of a doorknob turning. Slowly. Carefully. Testing it. My stomach dropped. That's when I realized something that made my chest feel tight. I never locked my bedroom door. I didn't own a weapon. No bat. No knife. Nothing nearby. Just my phone, shaking in my hand. I slid off the bed as quietly as I could and crouched behind it, pressing myself into the corner. I opened the emergency call screen but didn't hit call. I was terrified even that small sound would give me away. Footsteps followed. Heavy. Measured. Unhurried. They stopped directly outside my bedroom door. The shadow filled the gap beneath it. Whoever it was stood there for a long time. Long enough for my legs to start aching. Long enough for my breathing to feel too loud. Long enough for my mind to imagine the door opening. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what stopped them. But eventually, the shadow moved. The footsteps retreated. I heard the front door open. Then close. Silence returned. I stayed frozen for several minutes, afraid it was a trick. Afraid they'd come back. Only when my body couldn't take it anymore did I hit call. The police arrived quickly. They searched the apartment. Every room. Every closet. No forced entry. No broken locks. No open windows. But when they checked the front door, one officer looked at me and asked, "Are you sure you locked it tonight?" I was sure. I always was. Nothing was stolen. Nothing disturbed. Which means whoever was inside didn't come to rob me. They came because they could. I slept with the lights on for days. 2 weeks later, I moved out. And even now, years later, I still listen for footsteps in the dark. Because once you know how easy it is for someone to enter your life without permission, you never feel completely safe again.